At the old monastery of St Cianan, the eastern window still faces the rising sun. Nothing has changed in the heavens. And on this day we remember that saint who on this day in 489 went into the heavenly realms, having founded this monastic site. We have a few details of his life that come down to us. According to his Acts, the Acta quoted by Usher, he was a pupil of the holy man Nathan, and when a youth was one of the 50 hostages whom the princes of Ireland gave to King Leary, by whom he was set free at the intercession of Bishop Ciaran. He then went a long way away to France, and in this he's typical of these Celtic saints who practiced this form of asceticism of the heart, peregrinatio, Pater Christo. They were actually wanting to be free of all, even any attachment to earth. So he went to France and passed some time with great fervour at the important centre of Tours, where one can still venerate St Martin. His body is there in his basilica at Tours, in the monastery precisely of St Martin. Now there we have something happening which happens quite a lot in this Celtic period. It happens even with St Francis, rather St Patrick. He goes all the way to the monastic centre, still there on the island of Les Reims. That's off the south coast of France, off Cannes there, and there's a Cistercian monastery there to this day. But there it was a carrefour, a place where there was a cross-fertilization going on, and there would have been the likes of St John Cassian, so he was breathing in that atmosphere. And St John Cassian, of course, transmitted to us the Vestal spirituality of the Desert Fathers in Egypt, and that came through the instruction given by St Benedict to have these read before Compline, the conferences of Cassian. It also happens a lot between Wales and Ireland. Llanilltid was a great monastic setting in Wales, and people were instructed there and would come back to Ireland. So eventually he returned to his native country, where he converted great numbers to Christianity in Connacht, to the west. Thence he proceeded here to Leinster and founded a church in a place called to this day the Wood of Cianan. At length he went into the territory of Owen. Now that gives the present Tyrone, Tir Owen, the land of Owen, so called from King Owen, whose niece Ethna was St Cianan's mother. There he broke down an idol with an altar that was dedicated to it, and on the place built a Christian church. Now that also is something we find in the life of many saints. It happens in the life of St Benedict. It happened locally in Wales. My brother lives in Llanturog, the church of Turog, and Maen Turog, not far away, is a place where Turog cast down a massive holy stone of the pagans, an idol, something which was sacred unto them, but not to Christians at all. And he was given supernatural force to cast it down from the high cliff, the mountain, down to the bottom, and that became now, where it landed, Maen Turog, the church. Maen is stone, the stone of Turog, and there's a church of Turog down at the bottom. In the office of St Cianan, extant in the library at Cambridge, it is said that the saint built here a church of stone. On that account called trod. Now that becomes unique, and my brother thought it might be the equivalent of trod, house of stone. It's probably not correct derivation, but it's come to mean that insofar as the tradition is that it was the first really stone-built church in the land. A lot of people were proud of that for a long time. So this is the ground that we're on. St Cianan himself was descended from the royal blood of the kings of Munster. Duleek itself suffered greatly from several fires and devastations of the Danes, after which its episcopal see was united to that of Meath itself. But there was a bishop here for centuries, and there was still a bishop here in the Synod of Kells in the 1100s. And one can still take the title if one has a place where one is an auxiliary bishop. One can take the title of an extinct see, and that can be taken, Duleek. All that to say that time has gone on, the ruins are still here. Although the present church here is not the original, it nevertheless is old. And there's still actually a bell in the tower there. And there's here, on the left, the remains in the wall of what would have been the round tower, which is typically Celtic. Here one can see there would have been there a round tower. That present tower is probably posterior. And there are two Celtic crosses here. One is there, it's lost its complete bottom, but that is Celtic, and the other one is on the other side. This tomb is not original. The altar there probably is pretty old, but this was recuperated after the initial break of the Reformation for a while, and it was used as a Catholic centre for Mass for a while after the Reformation. It's interesting that things were able to carry on discreetly, but then eventually had to close. But there are traces of what was here. Here, all the usual things that one finds in ancient churches. There is an interesting inscription on one of these tombs here with regard to the night, because these souls are hoping to go to the night. There are some who have an ornate tomb, some who have very little. In fact, the older they are, quite often the simpler they are and the more authentic, because they're just in true humility before their king. Here we have simply Jesus Christ, and that is enough, the Alpha and the Omega. It is a pretty ancient tomb. And here, later in time, we have this one, but they have still got the Christian message to some extent in the inscription. Death is not extinguishing the light, it is putting out the lamp, because the dawn has come. And that dawn is what we're looking for when we come into prayer. When at the high altar in the abbey in Italy, one was looking towards the rising sun through the east window as one celebrated in the morning, and time was still. The High King was unchanged in his glory. We did what had been done at that altar in centuries gone by. And so it is that from one generation to the next we go towards the Son, which is Jesus Christ. The problem is that people presume now that it's automatic entry. This cemetery is interesting insofar as it is both Catholic and Protestant. Way back, and within living memory just about, there were two entries. The main entry on this side would be for Anglicans being buried, and the small entry on the other side would be for Catholics being buried. But they were all going towards the hope of meeting Christ, the Son of Glory. Now we are possibly at greater risk than those who went before us, partly because we presume that this automatic entry is there. We need to be careful, because we don't quite know how easy the entry is, and the Lord did warn us that straight is the gate. Therefore we need to be cautious about presuming that everyone gets in without a job. These monks took it very seriously. Great penance. Now anything goes, and we all get beatification at our funeral. O Master, who has trod before this ancient path were trod of yore, the silent feet of many more, thou still dost guide us, thou still dost guide us. And when the tears of many years, the secrets kept from mortal ears, are known again where thy word stares, thou still art listening, thou still art listening. For thou dost know this solitude that held the unknown beatitude, beheld and held in quietude, and still dost ponder, and still dost ponder. For thou didst call and calling heart, the distant echo of this word, call on and call till nothing stirred, in dying wonder, in dying wonder. It would at times as something move, where now thou art where ancient love can still and whisper from above, faint not, we conquer, faint not, we conquer.